You're watching Fox 10 Arizona Morning with Ron Hoon, Rick D'Amico, Andrea Robinson, Kristen Anderson, and Corey McCloskey in HD.
20 after 7, the trial is on for Elizabeth Johnson, baby Gabriel's mom. But could social media ultimately impact the trial's outcome?
Well, there have been an increased number of mistrials and criminal trials across the country because of social media. Through Facebook and Twitter, jurors have the ability to friend or follow each other. Well, then they discuss case matters, which we know you're not supposed to.
If they're not sequestered, they go home and then
they talk about it and things like that.
Okay.
So interesting. One Valley attorney fears that social media really could affect high-profile cases just like this one.
So Kristen Anderson joins him now live outside the courthouse with more. Kristen?
Hi, guys. Yeah, this is a really interesting one because, of course, in America, when someone's on trial, they have a constitutional right to a fair trial with an impartial jury, right? But social media and the internet in general really could be changing all of that because you can have a smartphone outside of court. So I want to talk to criminal attorney Brent Kleinman about this. I think this is really interesting, Brent. Tell me about what are the problems that you're seeing in regard to social media, but the internet too, right?
Both of them, but what's happening is the juries are getting a little bit too smart, and with smartphones and BlackBerries and all that, they feel they can answer the questions they have on their own outside the jury room on their nights off or during lunch, anytime they're deliberating, and that really puts a hamper on the criminal process because the lawyers fight long and hard to keep a lot of information out of trials because it may prejudice the defendant.
So if there's evidence that, you know, like you said, the lawyers fight to keep out of court, and then after hours, someone on the jury simply Googles it, they can see that evidence. They
can, and they can make their own decisions based on information that may not even be proper or Arizona state law. So it's a big fight for the defense attorneys and the prosecutors to explain things in a manner that the juries can walk out of there and say, I understand what's going on.
Okay, so outside of Googling and Wikipediaing, tell me about Facebook and Twitter. How's that coming into play?
Well, Facebook and Twitter, you're starting to see jurors follow witnesses, defendants, prosecutors, and or the judges even. And Facebook, people are trying to make friend requests to people that they think are interested in the courtroom, be it other jurors or participants in the trial. And all of those really make it ripe for a possible mistrial.
So you've seen mistrials across the country because of this very reason.
Yeah, they've had a couple in Texas. We haven't had one here that I can think of recently, and the judges are really on top of it. But it's happened in many states across the union where trials had to be retried just because of Facebook, Twitter, or Wikipedia.
That's incredible. With the high-profile cases like Elizabeth Johnson, for example, I mean, everybody is watching this story. How do you keep something from like that from happening?
Well, it's almost impossible because a jury, as a juror, you can't take away their access to their phones, their communication processes outside the courtroom, but you have to just continually reinforce the importance of sticking to what you're learning in the courtroom as the factors for, and then you hope and pray that it works. I mean, but there have been trials with courts of appeals that they find years afterwards something happened and they go back and they readdress it.
Wow. So it would be safe to say that I guess sometimes you just have to be on the honor system.
You do, and I mean, and you have to just watch it. And they've got jury consultants now that will monitor during voir dire. A lot of them will ask for Twitter handles, Facebook names, and they'll start monitoring everybody's profile throughout the entire trial to make sure that it may be one person's job in a law firm.
Okay, well, that makes sense. So right now, is that something maybe in the future, or right now can you ask for that Facebook and Twitter information? Because we've heard when it comes to employees and interviews, they can ask for that information, or military even.
Oh, sure, juror. You can ask a juror anything you want, and they get that. And I mean, obviously, there's a lot of people creating new and fake profiles as soon as they realize that may happen. But I mean, there's businesses that save jury, you know, by watching this and monitoring it 24 hours a day to make sure it's there.
Okay, well, the monitoring is definitely needed. Brett, thank you very much for joining us. All right, you guys, I'll send it back to you, but how interesting is that people are following and friending, and you really can't cut off the access to the internet after hours?
I wonder if they could disqualify you from a jury panel if you will not give them the profile information for social media.
Well, Brent They
Ask
alluded
him.
to. I mean, you can. You tell me. Can you prevent someone? Well, wait.
Can you
Rick,
be
what exactly?
disqualified from a jury panel?
Can you be disqualified from a jury panel if you don't hand over your information, your Facebook and Twitter information?
That can be a reason for an attorney to decide to disqualify a potential juror.
Yeah.
But that would all happen before the trial begins.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the voir dire.
And they're not requiring it right now.
No, it's not required, but it can be a valid reason for getting someone off a jury if they're concerned.
Wow.
Look,
Okay.
Thanks, Brent.
Thank you. That's great.
that's interesting.
Very interesting.
Look at where
Yeah, I
we've
think
come
so
in all
too.
these years.
Yeah, the times that we live in.
Technology and what it can actually, I mean, we always talk about how great it is, but it can really hinder something or completely mess something up like this.
It could
Something
be used for
important.
good and it could be used for bad. Like,
Yeah.
like